What's happening, HEXO traders and investors? It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Thursday, May 12th. Hope you're doing awesome out there today. And in this short video, we're going to be discussing the stock HEXO Corp, ticker symbol HEXO. We have some huge news out this morning. We had some retail numbers that came out for April. And if you take a look here, sales by month, you can see that HEXO is at the #1 spot, coming in at 33.7 million for the month of April during the month of 4/20. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like if you're new here. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. You can also subscribe and tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future updates. So going to take a look at this Hifyre data that came in for April. There was also a tweet from David George-Cosh. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah, David George-Cosh from BNN. So he posted this. This is for sales for, like I said, for April 2022, and this was from Hifyre. And if you take a look, HEXO came in at #1 at 33.7 million. Next on the list is Tilray at 31.7 million, and Organigram at 30.6 million. Canopy falling to 4. Followed by Village Farms, Oxley, Kronos. One thing to note here, he also alluded to it as well, that Aurora is way down, only coming in at 6 million. But we know that they're focusing more on the medical component and aspect now. But wow, what a dumpster fire there, and a complete loss of market share to Aurora. But kudos to HEXO, Tilray, Organigram for making the top 3. And HEXO and Tilray, my 2 favorite LPs. We know that they have a strategic partnership and a commercial and a financial partnership that's due to close. I did a video on it yesterday. The meeting scheduled for June 14th for the shareholder approval for HEXO. But this is great to see. And if we take a look at Hifyre here, you can see Hifyre expects 379 million of MJ was sold in April. And then if we take a look at the total, you can see here 378.9, so essentially 379, that matches up. But again, this is just for the month of April. Keep in mind, this was the month of 4/20, so it likely boosted sales a little bit, but not, wouldn't have completely contributed to all of this, right? That was just one day of the month. But one thing I want to bring up here is our retail sales have been declining, but it looks like they're back on the upswing. So in December, we came in at 354 million. January of this year was 346 million, and February was 336 million. I did reach out to David to see if he can share if he has any numbers for February and March, but I wanted to come on and do a video and just kind of give you guys an idea of what I can expect for those other 2 months, because we know their earnings that are coming up are going to have February, March, and April. And you can see here that their last earnings, the second quarter, was for the end of January 31st. So that would mean it would be all of February, March, and April. So this is looking really good. And we know that the Tilray deal meeting, shareholder approval meeting, is scheduled for June 14th. If we take a look at the tentative date here, it's June 15th for their earnings, coming up for their Q3 earnings. We'll want to see official confirmation from HEXO as per usual, but that's the tentative date right now. And notable that we have the transaction details and voting the day before the earnings. We could also see the CPG partner released at any time. They said 2 weeks ago on the 28th, they said that it would be released within the coming weeks. It's now exactly 2 weeks, so I think we could see that anytime between now and the end of the month realistically. But something to note here is they're only forecasting 52.98 million in revenue. If we came in for April at 33 million, this could be a huge beat. They're also anticipating negative 0.0333 for EPS. So this should be a surefire win and beat in terms of revenue, in my opinion, and just going to go over my thoughts on what we can potentially expect. So if we go back to our retail sales, again, we're missing February and March, but we have the numbers for April, and they're saying that it's 33.7 million. So if we just do a quick calculation, I'll just, I'm not going to actually do the actual calculation in front of you. I already did it before I came on and went live here and did this video, but I want to go through what I'm seeing here. So breaking it down, so if we had 379 million sold in April and HEXO made 33 million, that equates to about 8.7% of the market. And market share, which the last report said that they had about 9% market share, which matches up perfectly. So if we take that assumption of 8.7, by that math, that means that HEXO in February at 8.7% would be monthly sales of 29.3. So essentially, we just take the February sales of 336 million times that by 8.7%, and that gives us our 29.3 million. So now we just need to figure out March. So what I did was I took April, 379 million, and February of 336 million. I added the two together, and then I divided them by 2, which equates to 357 million for March. So by that logic, at 8.7%, that would be about 31 million in sales for HEXO. So based on that, something to keep in mind too, this isn't factoring in excise tax or anything like that, to my knowledge. So if we just go by that logic, 33 million for April plus 29 million for February plus 31 million for March equals 93 million for the quarter. And again, that likely doesn't include tax, but 93 million for the quarter, and they're only analysts are only expecting 52.98 million. And keep in mind, this doesn't include trust sales, right, of all the beverages, because it doesn't hit their bottom line, or even, it's reported on an equity basis. And this gets reported on TAP financials because they have majority ownership in that joint venture with Molson Coors and HEXO with Trust Beverages. So this is huge, right? If we come in at a huge beat, if we come in at somewhere around 80 to 90 million, that is going to be a massive surprise. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited about those numbers. Do you think we're going to have an easy beat this coming quarter? Again, financials and fundamentals haven't really been too significant, haven't mattered much in this market environment because of how bearish we are. But this could be set up for ripe for a short squeeze. Like I said, we have the transaction with Tilray, the voting going on the day before earnings. Again, we'll want to see official confirmation that it is on June 15th. But this is looking really, really good. And like I said, not even factoring in trust sales. This is just a glimpse into the future. And just imagine what the next earnings are going to be. Just imagine the sales for May, June, and July, right? Especially leading into the summer. And oh man, there's so much bullish catalyst to be looking out for. We know that we could potentially see safe banking and some U.S. legalization progress into the fall with the elections. But taking a look at HEXO, we did have support at 25 cents psychological USD. We got as low as 24.7 cents today. And something I want to continue to highlight is the MACD is still bullish on the weekly time frame, which usually indicates that we have heavy whale accumulation and market maker accumulation. And again, not really much to see in terms of technicals or fundamentals, but this is something that could, if we have a huge beat, if we come at 80, 90 million, that would be a huge surprise, and that could move the stock. But again, want to see CPG partner released soon as well. We know that they released the ATM of 40 million, which is going to get them by. They only had about 14 million left in cash, so that's going to get them by until the debt, to pay the debt until the deal closes next month, and then also to pay for the Tilray debt or the Tilray fees for that transaction, and then obviously other operating costs and expenses that it's going to take to run the business. So this is huge. This is very, very huge. I'm excited. I'm really I think the next 6 to 12 months are going to be a defining moment in HEXO's history and for the stock. And again, after the market cap of HEXO right now is about 160 million. And we know that after the Tilray deal closes, they'll have access to about $282 million in cash, which is far, far in excess of their current market cap. And we know that their current annual sales is over 200 million. And like I said, their market cap coming in at 160 million is just absolutely mind-boggling. Going to end it there, though. Let me know in the comments below if you think we're going to come in around 80 to 90 million, if you think my math adds up, if that is sound math. Always love hearing from you. If you could smash the like on your way out, I would appreciate it. Help support me in the channel. If you're new, subscribe and tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future updates. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.